would like to let everyone know in Nelson County about our plan has been approved for the November general election. We will be having 4 voting centers throughout the county. Our first one will be at Bloomfield Middle School. We're having one at New Haven Middle School, the Nelson County Public Library, and the Nelson County Fairgrounds, which also will be drive-through available. Those voting centers will be open to anyone at any location. They're open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The voter needs to make sure they are in line at 6 p.m. and their vote will be counted. We'll be doing early voting at the Nelson County Public Library starting October the 13th with the hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 o'clock to 4, Thursdays from 8 o'clock to 5:30. Saturday hours will start on October the 17th from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock p.m. No voting in my office throughout the whole general election. We will not vote in my office. All early voting will be at the Nelson County Public Library. We are actually going to pick up our absentee ballots this afternoon. So as soon as we get those ballots in the office, we will start mailing out some of those ballots this afternoon and throughout the rest of the week. So if you have applied for absentee ballot a couple weeks ago and you have not got it, we've not received them yet, but we will be picking them up today. Cathy's going to show you a little bit about how to fill out one of these absentee ballots, what needs to be signed on the envelopes, and where it needs to be signed.
Okay, yes. When you get it, we have 3 separate envelopes. Okay, this is your outside envelope. This is what you're going to see in your mailbox. Okay. Then inside, I'm going to go ahead and fold this. This is what it's going to look like. Your ballot won't be green. I did a sample ballot. You're going to have 2 envelopes inside. You're going to have a white envelope, a brown envelope, and in between that, you're going to have, there's going to be a set of instructions and then your ballot. Okay? Very important, and it's highlighted both spots. This has a yellow highlight, this has a green highlight. Voter must sign in both spots. Okay. So once you complete your ballot, make sure also you read your instructions. If you read your instructions really well, it will take you point by point. It will tell you all this. Make sure you sign each spot. Make sure you complete your choices. Once again, you can either mail it back, but if you're not comfortable with the mail, we will have the drop box available at the front of our office. You can use that to return the ballot. It has to be in the drop box by 6 p.m. Election Day, November 3rd. It has to be postmarked by November 3rd and received by November 6th to count. Okay? But as soon as you get these ballots, you can go ahead and start returning them. You do not have to wait till Election Day to get it back to us. In fact, we'd rather you get it back to us early so we can start counting these ballots. So once you complete your ballot, you mark your choices.
These ballots will have 2 sides on them also,
yes.
So make sure you read that back side. The
like
poll workers at the locations, sorry about that, but the poll workers at the locations will not be explaining this back side to anyone. So make sure when you are looking at your ballot at these voting centers, early voting or absentee, you are reading that back area.
There are 2 constitutional amendments. You can see they're both very long. It's up to the voter to do their homework. We can't explain it to the voter. We can't tell you which way to vote.
Exactly.
But they are on there. Now, honestly, and if you choose to, you don't have to vote for either one. If you want to leave them blank, everything else you vote for on the front is going to count. And it's going to be on the back of every single ballot. It's going to be 2-sided this time. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Given that people can vote at any location, and for example, someone from Bloomfield comes to Nelson County to vote, they happen to be working that day and find it more convenient, how do you separate the ballot that they would get?
We will have every ballot face. Every ballot face will be at all these voting centers.
Nelson County has 21 different ballot faces, which we've always had to do with our absentee voting.
Right.
So all 21 ballot faces will be available at every single polling location on election day.
So if I say I'm from Bloomfield, your people will hand me a ballot, or they will pull it up, I guess, on their screen.
My understanding is it's going to be an e-poll book. When you sign the person in, say that you scan their driver's license, it's going to tell you. It'll say ballot style 009. And that matches up to
that one there.
The ballot on
And so that's how the precinct officer is going to match you up to your correct ballot.
Okay, so the poll worker will have to bring that one up manually, or they will have
No.
to hit.
It'll come
be
up automatic.
Okay, so-
Kathy has spent
Automatically.
a few days to work with the state on our e-poll books,
Yeah.
so they've got those all matched with our ballots.
Okay, so if somebody from Bloomfield does come in and they say Bloomfield and you scan the license, that ballot will automatically come
Yes.
up?
The ballot
Supposed to.
style will automatically come up. We call them styles.
Okay, so
Like-
the style that I would
That's
need to,
it.
so there can't be any confusion then.
No.
That takes,
So-
We have coding in the system, which I translated into, if you're in the city of Bloomfield, which I just happen to know, that's ballot style 21. So I put in the computer, and that's how they know in the e-poll book that if you live in the city of Bloomfield, it's going to come up your name, you get ballot 021.
and that one, okay, so it'll automatically come up and they
Yes.
vote it. It's not like they have to punch that one in.
No.
Okay.
If somebody from Bardstown City Council is happening to ride through Bloomfield and they want to vote there at that voting center, once we scan their ID, it's going to show what voting ballot that they
Okay,
received.
okay.
Yeah.
That was just, I always wondered how that was going to work.
Yeah.
Right.
But she spent quite a few days getting with the state and locating these e-poll books and the ballots that matched with them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry about that.
We'll get back to that.
Okay.
So, first thing is you got your ballot, you fold it back up. You're going to put it inside this brown envelope. There's a seal right here, so you're going to make sure you seal it. There's a flap right here. Make sure you don't tear it off. Leave it just like this. Like I said, make sure you sign where it says voter must sign here. Okay? So when you vote that, then you're going to place it inside the white envelope. Once again, seal your envelope. And then make sure you sign up here where it says voter must sign here. Now, I know there's a little confusion in the primary. We need it inside both envelopes. That's whether you mail it or whether you put it in the drop box. Okay? Make sure you put it by inside. Make sure you have the 2 signatures. Select your choices. Seal it. Get it back to us in plenty of time.
Does the signature have to match the way your name is spelled or your name is registered?
It is supposed to match your voter registration card, but we also have, if you've gone through the portal, they're matching with driver's license signatures.
Okay.
So if that matches, we will take that.
It-
And there's also a process. If we say, or the board and our committee says, it doesn't match, we have a process. We will contact that voter
Okay.
and give them time to what's called cure that signature. So they would come into the office and present their signature.
All right, if his name is James Edward Brooks and he signs James Brooks, do you all, what's the procedure in something like that?
As long as your J's and your Brooks, the B.
Okay.
I mean, we've got a processing committee of 4 people, which they happen to be 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. The election board would also be there making these decisions. But our processing committee is, they'll be trained on what to look for. And then again, if we have a problem, we'll give you a call. You come up and sign your name and we'll go from there.
Which is another reason to get these ballots in early. Because if you wait till election day, you're going to have a very short window to come in and cure those signatures. Yeah.
Right. Jeanette, how many ballots, absentee ballots, couldn't be counted last election cycle due to whatever
I
problem?
want to say it was less than 15%, 20% less.
Yeah.
And actually, the state is actually more lenient and on the do's and don't what you can count and all. And we'll have those we're actually doing our ballot counting out to the Nelson County Sheriff's conference room. It's a big room. It's cameras and it'll be locked and security. We'll have all those. We'll have those directions voted out there, like for our 4 committee ballot committee.
ballot
Yes.
processing
Did you
committee.
say 15% that were sent back could not be counted?
Was it 50? Was it
I
around
think it was. I think
15%
it
or
was less. It was less.
Less than
I
that?
was thinking it was less, more like
On
less.
8,000.
I think it was around 5%. Is my
Was it
memory.
5% good? That sounds
I'm
even
pretty
better.
sure I did the math and it was like 5%. So it was not a very high.
And on most of those, we called and just couldn't get
Yes.
them in here. Couldn't get them to come. But we did make the we did try to call.
All right, but you had about 8,000 in the last election?
Yes.
So about 400 couldn't be counted then, roughly, if it's 5%?
Was it 400?
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember it was right at 5%.
Okay.
When I did the numbers.
All right, Jeanette, how many do you expect to mail out? I know a few weeks ago I had a number.
We had what was it? Last Tuesday we had 3,208.
Yeah, we're 3,600 something this morning on the portal. 3,600.
Okay.
And
How
they've
many-
got until October the 9th to ask for those mail-in ballots.
How many are you expecting?
How many more?
Because you had 8,000 in the primary, is that right?
Primary.
Well, with our early voting and with the voting centers, I don't think a lot of people's going to do the mail-in vote. There's really no reason to. You've got 3.5 weeks to go to the Nelson County Public Library, and the office hours, the hours up there is the same as our office hours. So you've got 6 days a week to go vote.
Okay.
If you're trying to beat the crowd, that'd be the way to go. And then with 4 voting centers, that's huge. From June, we have 1.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, just for clarification, the 4 voting centers will only be running on election day.
Election day, yes.
And early voting will take place.
Only at the
Only
Nelson
at the
County
library.
Public Library. None in my office for the general.
Okay.
No voting. These ballots that once they go out through the mail, they can be hand delivered back to the clerk's office. But what we're going to do is probably walk you to the front and let you put them in our drop box,
Right.
because our drop box will be emptied once in the morning, and it will be from a Democrat and Republican entering those back in once we get them scanned back in.
How many voters do you expect to vote in the election?
Wow.
Oh, I know 4 years ago it was about 64% voter turnout, because I just looked that up for you.
For
I would
presidential?
say this would probably be closer to 70. If we're going by, especially the primary was a lot higher than a usual primary.
Mhm.
So I could easily see a 70%.
I would say every bit of 70.
Yes.
Okay, and you have 20,000 registered voters
We
roughly?
have, no, 34,000.
34,000 registered?
Yes. About 20,000 people voted in the last election, I think. 21, 22,000. And we had a few less registered voters.
Okay.
There's a lot more people interested in this election.
Yes.
Every day. I mean, that election office is busy from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and Kathy's been staying after 4. And once we get these ballots, we'll all be staying and stuffing the envelopes and getting them out as quick as possible.
How long do you think it will take to get caught up with the absentee ballots that people have asked for to get them mailed out?
It's going to be a while. Like I said, we just got the first group in with our stickers yesterday, and we'll get the rest of our ballots today. So I say it's going to be at least a couple weeks.
Okay.
And the state is also giving us extra help, money to hire extra help through this election as they did in June. Oh, and the ballots, June was not highlighted. These ballots will be going out in the mail. Every
Yes.
place that you need to vote will be highlighted.
You need some-
Sign.
Sign.
Where you need to sign, they'll be highlighted. So you make it a little bit easier. And if you have any questions, you call our office, and it's 502-348-1820, option number 7, and we can help you.